feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, welcome to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. I'm your co-host Ted Jenkins, sitting here with my co-host, actually standing here with my co-host Lee Heisman, and our guest today, Justin Bizzarro. We talked all today about the food service businesses. This is something that you put on your radar, not just talking about entrepreneurship, but talking about the sustainability of food and what's actually happening in our country right now. I really recommend that after this video, you go to shrimptankpodcast.com, you listen to the entire podcast that we did today. Not only are you going to get great leadership advice, but you're going to get great advice about what's happening in the food supply chain and food overall. Remember too, check out all the videos right here on our YouTube channel. Simply click the button subscribe. That'll get you subscribed. You'll see the videos come in your inbox, and you may want to click that bell for notification so you can get notified when the videos are available. You can certainly go try to get an MBA at one of the best universities in the country about entrepreneurship, but the best way to get your education is to listen to other entrepreneurs right here on our Shrimp Tank YouTube channel.
Well, I will tell you, thank you so much, Justin, for coming in, of course, but there's a few episodes that I text my wife during the episode, and I said, you have to listen to Justin's episode because food is something that we take for granted. Yeah. Tell our listeners exactly what you do and how unique your approach is.
So we're basically a food food procurement, production, distribution, logistics, and farm company. We do everything from organic animals, grass-fed cows, organic cows, non-GMO pigs, for example, all the way to direct-to-consumer meals. So we're sort of soup to nuts. We're moving in a direction, like I said, of a healthier planet and replenishing the environment and more diversity in our food. So that means more biodiversity in the way we run our farms. So there's rotational farming. There's more introduction of more animals, for example, bison and things like that. So it helps rotate them in addition to the crops, and therefore we can grow more.
Ted, I like the way he said soup to nuts, which is a great example, but it's very literal. Something also I had to ask a question about, as we talked about in the show, we saw during COVID all of the nurses getting applause when they go back into the hospitals. Can you discuss your impact on that environment as well and what your business does?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do, our main business actually is healthcare food. So we're in the healthy food business. And that business is the delivery of meals to hospitals all over the country, particularly New York, California, Virginia, and Georgia. And so that being said, all of our workers did work through COVID. They did still show up to work every day and get their passes so they could make sure that they were providing food. They did feel like heroes showing up every day and making sure, as always, that a population that's compromised is always being fed and doing well. So knock on wood, somewhere in here we haven't missed a delivery in 24 years.
Wow.
So even with hurricanes and Brooklyn, New York, and the 5 boroughs, we've still delivered meals. So COVID was no different, and the staff takes that very seriously and upon themselves to make sure that people are fed, because even though medicine is important, nutrition's important as well. So.
You mentioned, obviously, early in the podcast that you have about 600 employees, and the engagement that those employees have had through COVID and even today is just simply amazing. But you also, on sort of a side note here, said that about 10% of the company is actually owned by the employees themselves. Is that a good thing for entrepreneurs that are watching to be thinking about having some sort of employee stock ownership plan?
As we grew and we needed to give different incentives to people in terms of managers and employees and people growing in the company, that was the way we did it for sure. I think it's 100% you need ownership in it. As an entrepreneur, if you're growing your business or you're trying to do other businesses eventually, you're going to need people that are owners or invested in your business. I've seen some people give up 40% of their business to someone over 4 years, 10% each year, just to go do something else, but still have the cash flow of their existing business and still be involved. So,
words of wisdom. So, something we talked about on the podcast, you said when there's a gold rush in one direction, you tend to head in the other direction.
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Food's the truest of the true in that, and it's interesting because we see everyone running away from food right now, which is why even more so I'm hitting the gas in food, Because, for example, if there's a gold rush and everyone's going for the gold, the opportunity is not the gold. It's all the people that are rushing to the gold rush or whatever. So that being said, in the food business, when everyone else is running to other industries, or we're seeing the deficit now we're seeing in food service, everyone sees it when you go through a drive-through or go to the grocery store. There's less food, there's less farm food, we're having issues with logistics. That's the time, that's where the opportunity is. There's less people there, there's less businesses there, businesses are suffering, so where's the opportunity?
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, this show, I learned a lot. I'm very fortunate to be able to do this. And once in a blue moon, we get a great entrepreneur where we just keep learning the entire show. If you want to learn more from Justin, how do people get in touch with you?
You can reach out to me on social media. On Instagram's the main thing. I do a lot of posts on there about leadership and business. So at Justin Bizzarro, Bizzarro, in case anyone wants to spell it, 2 Z's, 2 R's. You can also reach out to me on email, justin@betterwithbaconfat.com. And you can reach out to me on Facebook and stuff like that, but I don't really do much social media other than Instagram, so that's where I'm at. So.
Well, thanks for coming on the show today. Thanks for doing this post-show wrap-up. Recommendation, better with bacon fat. Brussels sprouts, I said on the show, add some bacon fat. It's going to make them a lot better.
It's better with everything.
And if you want to really learn more about being an entrepreneur, like I said, look at all these videos, especially in the food business. A couple of years ago, Lee and I actually interviewed a company called Tractor. They're in the business of being watermelon brokers. Who knew that you could be a watermelon broker? You can learn that and a lot more. And that's your post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp